Hi everyone. Thank you for joining in our session. Can everybody hear me? What you can do is you can put some comments on the chat. Can you all hear me? All right, great. Well, guys, this is our first time running a live a live event. This is going to be very interesting. We've never done anything like this before. Joining me is Gabriella, my partner in crime, who has helped me build this course from what it is today. So, guys, we are very excited for the next 2 weeks of involvement with you all. This is going to be an amazing event. Um, we again we usually do live courses, but we have never done live sessions like this, which are being shared on YouTube and LinkedIn and other places. So, without further ado, what I would like to do is I'm going to get started. All right. So, and I'll take sort of breaks every now and then to read through the comments so that we can be in touch. All right. So, welcome to day one. Day one is where we're going to talk about foundations of agent. And I just want to say thank you everyone for signing up. We're very lucky, very lucky to be here. In order to get started, one thing I would suggest is that you can scan this QR code. The QR code can help us connect with you all on on Discord. This way, you we can connect, we can discuss, you can ask questions about the course, you can ask a lot of different things, you can introduce yourself. So if you can, please go ahead and sign up on or share this link. Are you guys able to see this link? Please use the thumbs up or say yes. So if you can access this QR code for Discord. All right, so I hear people joining on Discord. Hopefully that there are some of you. Awesome. All right. So what we will do is that all the content that we are sharing over here, all the content that you see over here will be available for you via Discord. This way, it's the fastest way to communicate with you all, and we'll sort of start from there. All right. So those who don't know me, my name is Hamza Farouk. I'm founder and CEO of a company called Traversal.ai. I was previously at Google and I was at Walmart Labs. I've quite a few years of experience, and I've been teaching across the world in multiple universities. And my focus area has been to build AI ecosystems. System design is something which I used to which I used to excel on, and we can we I will share more about my experience as I go through. I know there's some of you who are having some challenges accessing the link to Discord. Um, we have a team that is going to help you all throughout this session. So there, some of you have already shared the link to Discord. Again, this is the QR code for Discord if you would like to join in. All right, I'm joined with Gabriella. Gabriella, do you want to you want to introduce yourself real fast?
Yeah, thank you, Hamza. Excited to be here with you all today. We have a lot to cover. So my name is Gabriela de Queiroz. I used to be a director of AI at Microsoft here in Silicon Valley. Before that, I worked as a chief data science at IBM, working pretty much on open source AI, and then also working in different startups. Nowadays, I have my own business and I work with different startups, also like here in Silicon Valley, to help them on the AI strategy and how they can accelerate their growth and get outstanding and visibility here in San Francisco. But I've been teaching for a long time. I taught courses at first Data Camp, then Coursera, edX. So teaching is one of my passions. So I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. And I'm joined with an army of people, who have put it together. There's Amna, there's Ali, there's Jayata, Arich, and Yusuf. All these people have sort of come together to put this course for you. All right. So we will basically go through a bunch of things throughout the session. If there's something that sort of missed out, or something that's not working for you guys, please leave in the comments so that we can sort of stop and take care of that. This is again our first time running this event, so we will need your help and support as we put together this entire ecosystem. All right. We're going to make sure that we have a good visual for this thing. Okay, great. I think this is a better visualization. Um, and we are working on sending you guys links to we're working on sending you guys calendar invite for tomorrow and the events that are following up. Believe me, putting together something which is live or across multiple streams takes a bit of time. All right. So just a quick recap on who we are. We've been teaching these courses across many companies. We have looked across courses, Stanford, UCLA, Maven. We're live streaming on YouTube and LinkedIn. About today's session, we had about more than 6,000 people registering for the course. We have people applied from 50 countries, so we're very excited about this opportunity. Before we get started, one request for you all. I would love to know your name, the city you live in, the work you do, and a food that you can eat forever. So if you had to eat one food, if you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what food would that be? So use the introduce yourself part on use the introduce yourself part on Discord, and just tell us your name, tell us the city you live in, what is the work that you do, and a food that you can eat forever. So for me, my name is Hamza. I live in San Francisco. The work I do is that I run a startup. I am also an adjunct professor. A food that I can eat forever is is probably biryani, which I think everybody in the world now knows what biryani is. Gabriela, do you want to tell us about yourself here?
So, Gabriel de Queiroz, I have my own consultancy business, and I think it would be cheese bread. That's a very common Brazilian
Yeah.
snack that we have. So I think cheese bread would be the one that I would be eating forever. I do eat forever. Like I've been eating since I'm very young. So probably that's it.
All right. Awesome. All right. So let's get into the brass tacks of what we are doing. We are we've divided our course into four parts. Today is part one, tomorrow is part two, then part three, and then part four. And what we want to do is we want to explore and learn about different agentic infrastructures. For us, there are sort of three levels of agentic infrastructures. There's level one, which is the automation agents. So for an automation agent, a customer service agent that routes user request, we can you usually use tools like N8N, LineGraph, Make.com to use those. And this is what an automation will look like. We'll discuss what automation is over here. We'll go into examples of, but the day one is about talking all about automation agents, how they work, what they are, and we'll give you some live examples of what you can build. So for instance, there's a tool over here. We will go through this tool to explain you how these tools come to life. Level two, or the second part of this course, is that we will talk about how to build agents which have thinking and reasoning agents behind that. So we'll focus on React based agent. Now it might seem that we're going to talk about lovable Replit, but we are actually going to write a lot of Python code so that we can build these agents from scratch, or you can actually see these agents that how they're built from scratch and what is it behind the scenes sort of that makes them come to life. So while we're going to talk about lovable, we are going to go brass tacks into actual coding of these tools. We only mention these tools because these tools have reasoning and reason and act behind the scenes. But think of Crew AI, think of AutoGen, think of those tools that we will use to talk about React. And if you haven't worked on React, that's absolutely fine. We will be discussing React in agents on how to use Python to build them from scratch, pretty much. Level three is what we will talk about, agent to agent ecosystem. Agent to agent ecosystem is basically when you have multiple agents which are conversing with each other. So our focus will be, we will talk about ADK and A2A. If if you have not if you don't know what agent to agent is, that's not a problem. If you don't know what React is, if you don't know what React is, so some of you might think this is React front end. This is not React front end. This is reason and act agents that we will show in detail. We have an entire Python code for you. So if you like writing code, if you like to, sort of push towards the technical knowledge of things, we are going to build that. The idea is that we're going to put it all together for you so that you can learn and get going. Now there is going to be a lot of code in this course, and you will see this. You will see all those details. But what we would like to do is make sure that you have insights to this, and you are able to build something. This is agent to agent, which is powered by A2A. If you don't know what A2A is, if you don't know what A2A is, if you don't know what ADK is, that's not a problem at all we want to do is give you insights to how does that work, what does it look like, how it is built, and what are the building blocks for that tool. And if you haven't done private Python programming, if you haven't done any of these things, that's not a problem at all. um, we will share links, we'll share learnings, we'll make it possible, because right now you might not know Python, but you might work with a team that knows Python. So the idea is that how can we introduce you to these ecosystems that exist, and they will teach you. So, and finally, we have a very important thing, which is we're going to talk about from basic search to enterprise RAG. Now, this might seem like an old topic, but those who have been working on RAG, those who have been working on building, if you've been able to, if you've been building RAG tools, you will see that there are many in-depth things that can be covered. So what I want to say is that think of this course as beginner friendly on day one, but in day 2, 3, and 4, we're going to get more technical. Now some of you will be like, I don't want to be technical, I don't want to learn anything technical. That's fine. We want to give you introductions to these things so that you can work on them, you can discuss with your team, and you can build them as you go. So essentially, we want to stay a little more technical, we want to stay hands-on. However, we want to make sure that you are learning as you go. So the last day, what you will focus on, or actually day 2, you will focus on building a RAG ecosystem, which is not a basic RAG. We'll actually talk about agentic routers, how do routers work, how do you scale something, and how do you implement or discuss what guardrails are. All right. And last but not least, what we want invite you to do is on Discord, we'll invite you to we'll make a group which is called demo. So if some of you decide to do a demo day with us, we'll hold another day where we'll basically invite you all, or some of you who would like to end up who would like to work on building an idea, come bringing an idea to life. That is what we want to focus on. We don't want to focus on just teaching basic stuff. We want to push you all to think about what you can build from this learning, and that has been the mantra of what we teach. We want to teach you all to build things, and the idea is we're going to show you a ton of examples throughout this course. Throughout this course, so that we can build those things with you all. All right. So, what are the learning outcomes for today? So today is we're going to talk about some basic stuff. We're going to talk about Gen AI inflection. We're going to go from basic LLMs to all the way to how they have evolved and what they are doing now. We're going to talk about the definition of agents, and then we're going to start building. We're going to look into building something very simple, which is an end-to-end tool. Now, in order to follow along this this learning, we have a GitHub link. We have entire GitHub which you can follow. So what I would ask you to do is, if you go, I'm going to share the link in the chat. I'll I'll share the link in the chat if you guys can see. This is our GitHub link. In this GitHub link, you should be able to see all the different things that we're going to teach over here, all the code, all the init, and all the Python code. So if you guys can sort of start this or something, so what we can do is follow up on with us over there, and I'll try to share that screen in a minute. Usually, it's a little difficult to share multiple screens like that, but for now, the the GitHub link, you guys can sort of open it, and what we'll keep doing is that we'll keep posting that GitHub link for everyone, so you all can follow through. The GitHub link is your best place so that you can follow up. If you hit a star on that, I know it's cringe to say stars, or stars, subscribe, like, whatever, but if you star it, you will be able to follow the changes we are making as we go through our GitHub. All right. So we're going to talk about the generative AI revolution that we have right now. What is the definition of generative AI? Generative AI is a type of AI that can create new content and ideas, including conversation, stories, image, videos, and music. Now, AI has existed in many forms over the years, in many forms. Okay, AI has been there. AI has been around us for a while, but the specific area that we want to focus on is generative AI. Generative AI is that where AI is able to generate something for you behind this, using natural language processing for you. So when I say natural language processing is how humans converse. Now, some of you might think, oh, this is too easy to explain. Why you explain it? Because we have people from different walks of life who have joined this course. I'm going to start from the very bottom, and in the subsequent slides within today, we'll get to a level where you will see that it is growing. So first of all, we need to understand what is generative. Generative AI is basically generation of new content. So when you go to a website and you see search results from your search, that's not generative AI. That is just search engine, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But generative AI over here is a type of AI that can create new content, ideas, including conversation, stories, music, and so on and so forth. And within that, one thing that you might have all heard about is agents. Agents are everywhere. So if you can communicate on the tell us on the in the on the chat that if you have heard about agent in, or how many times you have heard about agents in the past 5 days, because constantly agents are being you keep hearing about agents all the time, that people have been building agents, or the on LinkedIn post there is there's this agent, there's this agent. So there's a message from Vijay said, I heard about agents 60 times this week. I think that is exactly true. We keep hearing about agents nonstop. So it's because they have some value, or there's some hype value that has been created for them. I want to say there is some hype value which is created. We will try to demystify throughout these 3-4 days to discuss what that hype looks like, and how do you go from automation to React to agent ecosystems, to learn from that. And agents, the biggest selling point that they have is that agent make our life easier. They're there because what it does for us is that it makes our life easier. It makes us happy. It is supposed to do something for us. So as we go forward, I want to ask you guys one question. What is some of the reasons why? And you can continue to use the chat to answer. What is it about ChatGPT that makes you want to use it, or that makes want people to use it a lot? So again, my question is, what is it about ChatGPT that you want to use it? Um, and that is something what we want to that is something that we want to focus on. Is, if you think about it, it is one of the fastest growing products in the world, ChatGPT, and they make it easily available for you. It has natural language, so multiple solutions for a problem. It's responsive, saves time over regular search. There's a customized responses. So there are many reasons, and no matter where you are in your life, wherever you are, you actually end up seeing it being a part of the ecosystem. You actually see it, that it comes to life, or it is adding value to you, so you want to use it, right? So they identified a problem, and while most people are like, oh, ChatGPT, this, they cringe on it. They cringe on the fact that ChatGPT, we all use ChatGPT, but we end up using a lot of it. So there is a reason why sort of agents exist for us, and they're playing a major role. And I keep saying ChatGPT is an agent, and that's true. ChatGPT, if you talk about GPT-5 is a foundational LLM, but ChatGPT is a product. So the product that you use becomes an agent. The LLM that you use is the foundation. And so GPT-5 again is your LLM that is fused together with tools. It combines one effort to sort of make it available for us to use different options. So someone said over here, instead of going to every website for answers, we can find it in a single place. So remember, Chat GPT that you see is a product, and you can say that it's an agentic product, whereas LLM is GPT-5, which most of us don't use on a day-to-day basis. Most of us use the Chat GPT that we know on today's world. But before we go into that and how those things are built, I think we need to answer a very fundamental question of what on earth are agents. Now, some of you might know what agents are, but essentially, if I ask everybody in the room, we have, I think, about 600 people joining here. If we just ask what are agents, we might have something of a very different example coming from people, that people might be saying, agents are autonomous tools. Agents can do a variety of things. Agents have a capability of different capabilities. So let's start with a complicated example. A complicated example of an agent is, an artificial intelligent agent is a software program that can interact with its environment, collect data, and use the data to perform self-determined tasks to meet predetermined goals. Now, this is a very heavy definition that doesn't say much. All right. It doesn't say much, but it still has a definition behind it. And the idea behind it is that we want to make these things a little easier to explain and a little easier to understand. So I'm going to take a shot at it again to explain how we use ChatGPT right now. And we'll try to explain from there. So explain like M5. Currently, what we do is that you write a prompt on ChatGPT right here. And what it does is that it writes you an email right here, and then you end up posting that email. You end up posting that on your emails, on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram. So basically, we have a prompt over here. You use this prompt to generate an output, and we basically paste that output in any of our tools. It could be email, it could be Instagram, it could be LinkedIn. Similarly, some of you use a tool named Cursor. Cursor Cursor is a tool that can be used to sort of build coding architecture here. You can write a prompt, and it sort of generates code for you that you will see come to life for you. So Again, I want to mention that I'm going to start with very basic portion to begin with, but we're going to, within today's session, if you stick along, we will cover N8N, and we'll sort of deep dive into, we will deep dive into building something which looks like this. So I know there are some basic things that we have to cover because I want to create a baseline so that we're all on the same page, and then we'll build from there. Now, what is an agent? What the agent does is that here, I'm going to go one slide back. Here we wrote a request, and the request generated code for us. But it really didn't execute code or doesn't do anything. It just we literally wrote that code and it generated an output for us. The agent, what it does is it not only takes your prompt, writes your code, it generates the output from that code also. And that is sort of the fundamental building block of an agent. So I think someone over here in the chat also wrote this. I think Charles, you wrote that. So the idea is LLM agent has three components to it mostly. They have an LLM in the middle, which is could be GPT 4.5, we can 4.1, which could be Claude, it could be Gemini. There's a LLM in the middle, and that LLM is connected to various tools. So when I say various tools, those tools enable different activities, different functions. The job of the LLM is to help either activate them, or these tools use LLM to get an output in an orchestration. And then we have something what we call state, which is management of memory and understanding all the different steps which are happening. So this is a very fundamental and a very simple block of building an agent. You have an LLM in the middle, and again, I want to emphasize, some of you might already know this, and you'll be like, okay, this is very simple. But what these three things do is that every time you work on a React agent, you're using these things. Every time you're using agent to agent ecosystem, you're using this ecosystem behind the scenes. So these agents ecosystems are built in such a way that using these three fundamental things, it's a very strong thing. If you imagine using these three fundamental things with memory over here and state, with different tools in action over here, your LLM or your agents that you see in today's world. So if you have heard of Manus AI, if you use Claude Code, if you use Lovable, all of these tools have one thing in common, is that they have an LLM in the middle, which is connected to a bunch of tools, and those tools have memory storage in them, which allow you to generate code and have it executed for you behind the scenes to generate an output that you see over here, that you see bring to life. So if you think of Perplexity, how many of you work with Perplexity? If I'm sure there are a bunch of you who have used the tool Perplexity. Perplexity is an LLM which is connected to a tool. So there are a bunch of examples that you can see. We have also built a tool which is Lisa, which not only has rack connection, but it also has internet connection, and you can use them you can use them back and forth. So for instance, there could be one question, what is the reason for back and forth? So the back and forth sometimes is that when you have multiple LLMs that you use in the middle to sort of get to an answer based on multiple connections. So for instance, when you have LLMs, and that those LLMs are connected to other LLMs. So it's not one time that you use an LLM. It's basically when you're trying to use an LLM multiple times to generate a response for you. So it's going back and forth to you first say, okay, I have written this. I've written this part. Can you please answer this question for me? Or is this done correctly? So it will go back and forth from one tool to another tool. I'm going to try to share my other screen and see if I can show you all that part. Let me try this once. Stop screen. All right, I'm gonna try to share another screen. All right, can you all see my new screen, which is the N10 page? I just want people to say yes or no. All right, so at least you guys can see, and don't worry. I know it's gonna be a little blurry. It's by design. It's supposed to be bloody. So one I want to highlight is that there's a person named Sohail Jafri. He built this orchestration. If you want to follow him, we'll share the link to this thing also. But if you want to follow him, he's been doing some really good stuff. Again, his name is Sohail. These are his links if you want to join him. But what we did is that we took some of his learning and designed one of our own. What this is that this is a block generator. It takes input from you on what you would like to generate as a title. So for instance, I want to write an article on what is speculative decoding with across open source LLMs. So if I want to write that article, what it will do is that it will go through a bunch of tools and LLMs which are connected. So the part where you are getting answers back and forth. So what we have here are different LLMs which are doing individual jobs. So you have a blog research, you have a blog content generation, then you have the post AI detect and humanization, and then we basically merge it all to put it all together for us in one go. So this is behind the scenes of how we build tools orchestrated with LLMs back and forth so that it is able to answer us properly. So here, if you see, this is an AI agent, 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 and it's all going to Claude. Now, don't worry if this scares you. Don't worry if this scares you. The idea is not to scare you. The idea is to give you guys information about that there is a huge architecture which rolls behind the scenes. You don't have to build this today. We will share the link how to build this, but our focus is to tell you that there's an orchestration which is built and available, and you can use that orchestration to build agents which are our automation agents. So I'm going to try to stop sharing this screen, and then I'm going to let me try this. All right, I'm going to go back to my normal screen. All right, so just want to confirm everybody can see my screen. Back to the PowerPoint. All right. All right, so we have this available here. All right. So as I said before, we can use LLM as a central theme. And someone mentioned how is this different from Airflow? This is not different from Airflow in terms of orchestration, but usually in Airflow we would never have an LLM in the middle unless they've also introduced LLMs. But usually we used to use those of you who remember Airflow, there's an orchestration of machine learning that used to exist. Here we have N8N orchestration, which allows us to build a flow of an idea to see answers. Right. So we go back to the old fundamental question. One small fundamental question: what can Gen AI do for you and your organizations? And some of you mentioned, hey, it can help us. Someone said it can help us build better tools. So again, I would like you to answer this question on the chat is what is it that Gen AI can do for you and your organization? Or at least let's just start with the most basic thing. Those of you who use Cursor, what is it about Cursor or what is it about ChatGPT that makes you want to use those products. I know some people said, some people mentioned a few things. To improve productivity, better quality output, faster output, expedite things, and I think those answers are all correct. To be honest, those are all correct answers. Um, Basically, the word we want to focus on is productivity. And productivity means that you're saving times. Productivity means that you're doing repetitive tasks. It sort of helps you often optimize daily tasks, and that is true. And that is what we will identify as we go through every single level of agent. So first a level agent is when we will talk about N8N tools. Those are automation. Then when we go to the second level, which is React agents, we're going to start seeing better output. We're going to see better productivity, better output, better things that are sort of very difficult to do all in one go. And finally, the third one, agent to agent, is it can sort of build multiple things together. It can stitch work of two or three agents together that sort of it sort of builds something for you to get multiple agents to connect to each other and sort of build one very cohesive agent tool for you, going towards AGI. But essentially, think of automation agents that we'll talk about today that focus on your productivity, that they will do pretty much what you would have done in 5 hours or 3 hours. They will do it for you in maybe 30 seconds. And that is a big differentiation when we talk about productivity versus the productivity tools that we have behind the scenes. All right, so while we want to talk about productivity, it also helps reduce repetitive works. It acts autonomously. It increases our productivity, as I said, and then it helps you adapting with change. And in terms of applications in the Gen AI industry, we have finance, we have sales, we have healthcare, we have hiring. So all of these agents do one thing. They'll say, will help you reduce the workload for what you're working on today. For instance, AI receptionist voice agent for better patient access. What it will do is that you can make a call, you can make a booking for your hospital appointments. Or you have an AI recruiter that can go through millions of resumes, find the best resume through reasoning, and then maybe send back and forth questions to the users to ask or candidates about what on how to move along. And something that I want to mention over here is that it might seem very simple, but a company, when they have 300 positions open and they have thousands of people applying for an individual role, ATS, so some of you might remember ATS, which is keyword based, is not cutting it. It's not doing the right job. However, if you think about it, that if you have an agent which is better reasoning, which can understand the context which you have written, and it is able to build something very fast on it, which is able to give you better response than what we have right now. That's the idea that we want to use. A hiring agent that does better job. All right. Now, I know I spent the past 30 to 35 minutes talking about the introduction. We have to use that time to sort of get started on something. So we are now going to talk about automation agents, which is the first part of today. What are automation agents? Automation agents are basically agents which you can build in N8N that have a defined workflow. And this is the most important. Like, if you guys want to screenshot this, you will have access to video recordings too. But if you want to screenshot one thing from this entire learning, this page should be it. Basically, when do you want to use automation agents? Automation agent is basically, you use them when you can map the entire process as a flow chart with clear decision points. It is able to identify how you want to build something. Like, it should be able to say, I'm going to do step one, then I'm going to do step two, then I'm going to do step three, then I'm going to do step four, then I'm going to do step five, step six, step seven. That is what we call, that is what we expect. If that is a flowchart that you can define with an LLM in the middle to help us with dynamic answering, that is exactly what an automation agent is. Your execution paths are finite and predictable. That is basically in these 15 to 20 steps, we should be able to reach to an outcome. And something that you would like to done in seconds to minutes, the value is in automating a known process, not discovering new approaches. So I would like you to take sort of, again, please take a screenshot of this. This is the most important part that you want to learn about automation agents. Is this basically allows you, if you have these, if you can answer these things about your workflow, if you can answer these things, like I would like, when a person applies for a role, I would like to make sure that their resume is evaluated, a summary is generated, and if that summary is good enough with certain minimum requirement, it should land in my inbox that this is the person that you, or these are the 5 people that you should interview. That is an automation. The automation part has an LLM in the middle that allows you to use ChatGPT as we know today. That's the more important part that I would really like you to focus on. Don't worry about anything else right now. Don't worry about, oh, this is not reasoning. We'll get to reasoning. First part is here you're using agent. You're using agents over here, the that are behind the scenes, and these agents are doing a good job for you, to make sure that your finite workflow is done. I keep repeating myself, and it can be a little annoying, but the reason I'm repeating this is that I want this to be etched in your memory. Build a flow chart. If you can write down a flow chart of what you would like to see that comes to life, that is what we call as agents or automation agents. For me, I use four automation agents for me every day. These agents, these agents are basically the agents that I use on my day-to-day basis in order to automate my life. So I will talk about the first one, and this is the first one which we want to share with you so that you guys can also build something similar. And then the second one is the content generator behind the scenes. So let's start with the first one. The first one is the client prospecting agent. And some of you might be like, oh, what's so important in client prospecting agent? I really want to emphasize on this is that I use the client prospecting agent to reach out to customers that I would not know to reach out. And first, I will show you the workflow. Once I've shown you the workflow and the output, then we'll talk about it on what it's doing for us overall. All right. So let me go ahead again, share my screen. I'm going to stop sharing this. All right. All right. Can everybody see my screen? I just want someone to say yes or no. And I understand there might be a lag also between the streaming, but you can all see my screen. Okay. So that's great. So this is what this innocent looking tool is actually pretty strong. And I'll explain what this is. So as I said before, I run for a startup with the name of traversal.ai. In here, what we do is that we build tools, or we build agents for companies. One of our agents that we build is an agent that works behind the scenes, or think of, we call it Olive. I'll also share the screen for that. All right, so this is a tool which we call Olive. Olive, what it does is that it's an agent that runs on your data. So it connects to your data in the back end, and you can ask questions, you can build machine learning models from it, you can do automations. All of those things are available, and you can build them using our tools. So think of our tools as, or our agent Olive as a as cursor for your data, right? And when I say cursor for your data, you can think of massive databases which are connected to an agent that can read your data, and once it has read your data, it's able to generate great responses, and it's able to explain what's happening, answer questions about your data and build forecasting models. So one of the good things about Olive is that once it has read your data, it understands it. Once it has understood your data, it can do not only data analytics. So some of you might be like, I can use ChatGPT for that. Yes, you can use ChatGPT for that. But what it can also do is it can explain, it will not only generate Python code for you. Once it's generated Python code, it will give you the answer. But the better thing it does is that it has built-in capability for building different machine learning models. And a lot of people base what we have seen is that it's not a consumer product, it's a company-based products. So this is a product that we want to sell to our customers. Now, for me, the most important thing is I should be able to sell this product to different users, to different people. How do I reach out to those people? So for that purpose, what I've done is I built this I built this exact tool. What this tool does is that it finds me customers on a daily basis. What it does is that it finds customers for me on a daily basis, trying to say, hey, based on your requirements, these are the people that you should talk to. Let me just get here. These are the customers you should talk to, and this is why you should talk to them. So I'm gonna let it run for like 5 minutes. Actually, it doesn't take 5 minutes. It just it takes about 1 minute to run. Once it has run, it generates an output for me, and it's gonna send an email to me that, hey, this is something that I found. Now I'll explain you what that email contains, and then from that email we'll get into how that's useful for me. So sharing my screen here. This is my inbox that I received this email, which says, this is the company. This is what their budget looks like. This is the tech stack of the company. This is the overview of the company. These are the data needs for that company. Where this is why Olive is so good for them. This is our recommended pitch strategy. These are the key talking points, and these are the next steps that we should follow. So what I get every morning over here is I get a bunch of customers, a list of potential customers in my inbox. Those customers in my inbox becomes prospects. How does this work? What we do behind the scenes is, if you see over here, we are connected to RSS feeds of different data boards, different job boards. We scrape those job boards. So if you see, this is a company called remoter.com. They have a RSS feed. We scrape that RSS feed. From that, we identify companies which are hiring data scientists, data analysts, data engineers. So our idea, so if you use Cursor, if you want to sell a tool like Cursor to a company, you want to make sure that company has developers, that company has developers that would need tools like these. Similarly, we are trying to look for customers who are looking to hire data scientists, data analysts, data engineers. For that purpose, what we do is we basically reverse engineer information on them. So we look at the job posting. Based on, after the job posting is done, we analyze if this is a good customer for us. This information is said over here, and I'll talk about it, how you can utilize this information. You should not worry about how this is working and what this is. But essentially, I literally just write as a prompt I explain it all as a prompt that what you would like to do, what you should do is you should analyze this job posting. And once you have created this job posting, I would like you to send me this job post in my inbox and add to my CRM. So now I have a potential list of customers that are able to build, or we have a bunch of potential customers that are available to us in our CRM. And while it might seem, oh, this is not going to work, we have landed at least 15 customers just through this agent. And imagine if we have a customer who's paying $100 to us, just maybe $100. The entire workflow that was used to create that customer lookup is cost us less than 1 cent. So for 1 cent, we were able to reap. So our customer acquisition cost is or customer reach out is 1 cent. Our customer conversion is at least $100 a month. And of course, it is much more than that. But what I'm trying to say is that um, these agents, um, these agents, automation agents, this particular automation agent does the job for me that I'm able to get customer use cases in my ecosystem every day, so that I can build them. And that is a very strong cursor, or positioning for us, is that we are a startup. We cannot hire people at this time. We cannot hire data scientists. We can't hire salespeople or go to market who can sort of build that ecosystem for us. So we reversed engineering. Like, we took a lot of online classes, and we found out this is a great way to to reach out people. You should look on job boards, and then we reverse engineer the entire process. Now we have a database of more than 10,000 potential customers. There is, of course, a conversion rate from 10,000. For every customer you reach out, only 10% will respond, and only 1% overall will convert. So if you have a big funnel of good target customers, you are able to land on those customers right there for you. So this is what n8n allows you to do, or basically the reasoning behind n8n is that n8n gives you the capability to build these automation workflows. I want to show you one more workflow that would be of use to you, is this agent workflow. This workflow for us, it seems scary. I know it seems a little scary, but believe me, this agent does all the job for you. This agent does the job for you. And building out this agent does your research. It does content generation. It tests your data, whatever you have written. It creates HTML tags. Then it generates images from it. And then what it ends up doing is that it sort of it saves it as a document for you in your ecosystem. Again, this is a complicated workflow, but what I want to do in the next 15-20 minutes is help you guys through on how you can build your own n8n. We're going to call that tool Lisa. And all we'll do is that we'll try to build a Perplexity clone here. We'll try to build an agent that can answer questions for you, or answer API calls for you, or internet search for that purpose. So the fact is, automation agents, these agents over here play a major role even in my life. So you can think about how you can work with these automation tools to build them for your use case. There is also, if you see here, there's a LinkedIn post. I'll share this LinkedIn post over here. You can see this LinkedIn post. I was trying to explain what MCP servers are. So I built an agent that would generate video content for me. So here we are with n8n and no-code workflows. So n8n, as I said before, is your automation companion. The automation companion, what it does is that it only automates a process. It is not responsible for doing any kind of reasoning. You're not doing any reasoning over here. You're only building a flow of instructions which are automated for you. And this is what an automation workflow looks like. It basically it is connected to an LLM. It has memory connected to it. It has authentication. It can be connected to your Jira or anything else, and it sort of responds to your answers. The most important thing that an n8n can do is that it has a workflow. So this entire thing is called a workflow. Everything over here that you see is a workflow. And then you have nodes within that, which play, each one of them have a role to play in how you build it. Last but not least, in n8n, there are, if you have to take a screenshot of another thing, this is the second page that you should take a screenshot of. n8n hosting options. You can host n8n on n8n Cloud. You can host n8n through Hostinger or VPS or Virtual Private Server. I would highly recommend you to use Hostinger. Again, I want to say that Hostinger doesn't pay for us to say this. Hostinger is a great tool to use. So if you have looked into Hostinger before, I would really ask you to, if you want to start with something, use a Hostinger. It's very cheap and pretty fast. And then if you're a developer, you can host it on AWS, Azure, GCP, and finally you can also host it on local, or you can also do it on local. But we recommend people to use Hostinger. Hostinger is a great tool that you can use to sort of build very, very fast development and sort of build from there. Within n8n, there are trigger nodes, action nodes, utility nodes, code nodes, and AI nodes. All right. So before I get started and show you a live working example, what I would love for you all to do is, if you scan this link, again, I'll put the link to our GitHub also on the chat. But if you scan this link, you can go to our GitHub. You can select our GitHub, and you can actually find all the content, all the different coding exercises over here. So this is what our GitHub looks like right now. If you see this, so, okay, this GitHub over here has every single n8n workflow that I will be showing you, or I have shown you. It is free. It is extremely comprehensive. It has all the different things. So I know live teaching can sometimes be difficult, especially when you're doing online. However, what we have done is that we have built step-by-step workflows on how you can follow along to sort of build one workflow of your own. You start with the first one. You start with the very first one, then you add another one, then you add another, then you add another, then you keep adding those tools. So eventually you have something that works. This chapter 4 over here is the n8n workflow, which I showed you all before. For the customer prospecting, all of the code, the entire thing is available for you. If you want to build it on step-by-step process, this is the sales prospect agent, which I use on my day-to-day basis. You can, if you follow these steps, again, this is all free. This is already available to all of you. This is already out there, but this tool is really great. We have recommended other people to use it, and we also have connected it to n8n, so it works. You can build an entire startup around this tool. And if other of you you want to build your own chatbot with RAG, this all of that information is also available over here. So what we'll try to do is that we'll try to build a simple Perplexity clone. All right, and it is the simplest one to work with. We have a tool which we call Aries that works behind the scenes. But what you can do is, if you again make sure that you bookmark this, you don't even have to start our GitHub. All I want you to do is just save this thing. Just save this information so that you guys can follow us. So you can follow this over here. And what I'll do is I'm going to click on chapter 1, and I'm going to save this chapter 1 for you all. This is within my GitHub. This link is within my GitHub if you have questions. But please follow through this. This is a repository that we have been working on for a while. It sort of covers everything that we teach, everything that I've been teaching overall, and I'll try to build this as we go. Anyways, so this is our GitHub. Sorry, this is a part of our GitHub. This is called Gitbook. Those of you who know, who have worked with Gitbooks, you know what this is. But these are multiple agents that you can build. So I've shown you a bunch of them. This is your how you can use to build your blog post. Also, it tells you step by step on how you can build that. All right. Now coming back to n8n. Some of you have worked on n8n before. Some of you have never worked on n8n before. What I would like to do is I'm going to try to do a very basic implementation for you today so that you guys can sort of start working, like get started. So we're going to call it day one, and I'm just going to call it day one Lisa agent. I like to name my agents. So we have something called day one Lisa agent. If you are like, hey, I just want to know the code to it, I don't want to build, I don't want to build it right now with you, that's absolutely fine, because what we have done is that we've also made the workflow for it available for you also. So we're gonna, let me share it with you all in 1 second. So if you go to our GitHub, again, if you go to our GitHub, in our GitHub, there is something called Lisa, your first agent. So if you click here, you will see lisa.json over here. And you click on lisa.json and you just copy this code. I'm going to make this a little bigger. If you copy the JSON code, all right. So again, you go to agents in action, which is our GitHub. Once you go to agents in action on our GitHub, there is Lisa, your first agent available over here. You click on the JSON and you copy the raw file. Once you have copied the raw file, and this works like magic, all you need to do is go to n8n and just paste the workflow. And so all I did was I just did a control V. Literally, I just did control V or command V, depending on which machine you have. This workflow got entirely pasted onto n8n. And I really want to emphasize to you all is it's not it does not it allows you to work very fast through that. n8n n8n has a free trial for 14 days. I think currently it has a free trial for 14 days, so you guys can try it out for free. And you can sort of use this you can use this tool. You can use n8n for free. So if you go to n8n.io, you can say start my free trial. Your trial will be started. Once you have started your trial, all you need to do is basically once you've started your trial, you can go to our GitHub over here. All you need to do is hit copy raw file. Just select copy raw file. You can download it also, or you can just copy it. Once you have copied it, you can come back here, and if you paste it, this is what it will look like. Now, I know there is a lot to go in through this, but what I would like you to do is once this recording is over, I would love for you all to go back to this and try to make it, try to bring it to life. All right, so this is how you can paste it and you can start using it. But what I'll try to do is I'll try to build it right in front of you. Now, live demos are notoriously bad, and we always fail in them. But I'm going to do my best to show how we start. So the first thing we always need is a chat trigger. The chat trigger is basically how you start your workflow. Usually these chat triggers are connected to an AI agent. So let's say my AI agent, I'm just going to bring in a normal AI agent. And I have now a chatbot, a chat box, which is my trigger. The chat is connected to my AI agent. And so far, I've only done this. I've only used two nodes, a trigger node and an agent node. This agent node can connect to any LLM that is out there. It can connect to open source LLMs. It can connect to DeepSeek. It can connect to Olama. It can connect to Bedrock. It can connect to Grok. It can, like, it's basically insane of the number of things it can connect to. So I'm going to use OpenAI account. You can configure your OpenAI account over here. It's very easy. All you need to do is paste your API key over here and you're good to go. So that's the first part. The second part is you can add memory. So you go here, you can select your simple memory over here, and don't worry about anything else. Now you have memory in your tool. You have a very basic memory, but there's memory now available. Now, right now, this is just basically like ChatGPT right now. So if I say hi, hopefully this should work. It will say hi. It will. So I'm gonna expand this a little bit. So you can say hi. How I can assist you today? So like, my name is Hamza, and I live in San Francisco. And it will basically say, okay, that's great. And I'll say, can you tell me my name? And what it will do is that it will say, yes, your name is Hamza. How can I assist you further? Now, this is basic LLM connectivity, and yeah, we got something to work. The good thing about this tool is that it has tools attachment to it. So this is where we're going to take things off and make them a little smarter. So the first thing we'll do is I'm going to bring the old one here just to show you something. I'm going to paste it down here. So just so that you have something in parallel. So the two things we want to do is that we will try to connect internet search. And if you have time, we'll try to connect to AWS. But let's just start with, for now, let's just try to connect to internet. So here what you can do is there are various tools that you can connect to internet. You can use Perplexity, you can use another tool. So we have a tool which we call Aries. So here, all we need to do is we have introduced an API. So this is an API requester. In order to make your internet search work over here, you want to go to api.traversal.ai. This is the screen. You log into it. All right, I'm going to try to log in from a different email. So you log in from here. All right. And what you will do is you will see how many requests are remaining. You will go ahead and generate your key. All right. So you have your key over here. Now, this is where things get a little more interesting. In the documentation, all you need to do is copy the curl statement. And I know I'm going through a little fast over here, but those of you who have worked with curl, this is a very easy way to copy it. So you copy the curl statement. You come back to your init right here. You come back to your init right here. And all you need to do is click on import curl and save this. So the beauty of curl is your entire curl configures your blockchain. Your entire init configures your request to internet search of how you should build your API protocol. And remember, we generated the API key. So all we need to do is copy that API key and paste it over here. So this is where the API key goes. And last but not least, we just have to make this automated. So I will say, this is how we describe of what the search would be. I'll say great taco places. All right, and we're gonna rename it to we're going to rename it also. So here we can call it internet search. So just through a very basic architecture, here we have a chat which is connected to an AI agent. The AI agent has an LLM connected to it. It has a simple memory, so it can remember conversation. It can remember the last 5 conversations we had. And now it has internet search available also. And in this internet search, all we've done is that we set up the connectivity, use this for internet search. And we added through our curl statement, we were able to add value to our key. And moment of truth, let's just say, can you find me great, can you find me good ice cream spots near me? And what it will do is it is basically running internet search. So it figured out that I've asked a question that would require internet search. See, I've not done anything myself. All I've done is that I've added internet search. And you can use SERP API, you can use Perplexity, you can use anything behind the scenes. So what it did is that it used internet connectivity to generate. And I said, can you find me good places, good ice cream spots near me? I didn't say find something near me where find in San Francisco. I just said find something near me. And what it did for me is that it converted my search into ice cream spots in San Francisco. So the LLM agent rewrote my query. It rewrote rewrote my code into searching. It rewrote my code into searching and search the internet. It used that API, and now it's able to answer using that API endpoint over here. Right. So essentially, what has happened, or what's happening behind the scenes for us, is we now have a agent which has internet search attached to it, and it can remember who we are, and it is able to respond through personalization. If you want to follow, if you want to build something on your own, also there is a AWS or there's a RAG tool also which you can add. So then you will have internet search and RAG both working in the backend. One question I get a lot from people is one question that I usually get from people is that, oh, I can use Perplexity for this. I can use Google for it. Why do I need to build something my own? It is the build versus buy mentality. It is build versus buy mentality. And I really want to emphasize on that. We are pushing you to build. We are pushing you to build these tools, or we need to be able to build these tools so that we can build larger ecosystems. So when you build something like a search, like a blog agent, it is using 5 different agents, 5 different tools together to bring one thing to life. That is the power of using these tools behind the scenes. It is not to give you it is not to push you to say, oh, one product can do it, why would I need to? Don't think about it like this. Think of this as a building block. It is using the building blocks of your AI backend, and it sort of goes back and forth in responding to you. And to be honest, when you have this thing connected, the whole thing which is running behind the scenes, it then becomes, you can then connect this to lovable front end. So I'll give you an example of a great tool that we have built internally. I'm sure most of you have heard of Airbnb, right? Airbnb is basically one of my favorite websites which I use. However, the biggest problem with Airbnb is that they don't have description of what you're looking for. So what I did is that I built a tool on top of it. And what it does is, so let's say I'm saying I would like to go to Tokyo from 20th January to 23rd January 2026. I will put my name and I will put my email address. I'll put my email address. This tool is now going to search the internet and it's going to go to Airbnb in real time. It's going to search through Airbnb. It's going to find a bunch of properties. It's going to reduce those properties to the properties that I would like to like, that are more relevant, that are most relevant to what is useful for me. And using that search, or using that MCP connectivity, it is then able to generate a response for me, that will be sent to my inbox. Now, before, hopefully, it will reach me, but the idea is I built the entire workflow using N8N and Lovable. I'm not using any API keys from Airbnb. I'm not using any hacky software. All I'm doing is I built a connection with Airbnb. I built an MCP server, and this entire overview is here. We basically have a webhook which connects to my Lovable website, which you just saw. This goes to an agent. The agent has memory in it. It has MCP tools in it. Those MCP tools allow me to request or exchange information with Airbnb. I have an output tool which basically parses the output that is generated for me. And once that output is generated for me, I'm able to get an answer. I'm eventually able to get an answer in my inbox which says, "Hey Hamza, this is where you should stay. This is what you should be doing." And if I go to executions, I can actually see the entire execution that happened for me behind the scenes. It took the request. So if you see over here, it's received a request from me that I'm looking for modern apartments in Tokyo. So remember, I made a request on the website. The webhook enabled me to connect to my website to N8N. It had my email, it had my name. And once I was able to send that information, I then receive an email in my inbox which says, "Hey Hamza, so this is the email I receive." See I just got it. It will say these are the places that you should stay. This is place number one. Why this property is great for you. So now what you will see is automation agents. I can do this myself also. I can do this myself. It just takes me more time. It takes me more time to do it myself. This one executed in 2 minutes. Um, it went to my Airbnb. It went to Airbnb. It looked through all the different listings that were available. It read through them. Once it read through those requests, it was able to generate a report for me. And if I click over here, I actually find a location with the dates that I'm looking for, which is most suited to what I would like to do. So the idea is we are able to build these things very fast. We're able to build them, we're able to design them, and take benefit from them. So this is a tool that I'm very, very proud of, guys. It basically came out of a necessity. It came out as a necessity to build something better, finer, nicer, that can bring things to life. And at the end of the day, it's very beautiful how things come together. Now we always have limited time in what we can do and what we can answer for you. However, the best thing here is if you want to understand how this works, I'm not asking you to sign up for something. I'm not asking you to to do anything. All I'm saying is just follow through what we have done in our GitHub. Go to our GitHub, This is our GitHub. Again, I'm going to share the link to the GitHub over here in the chat. Follow this GitHub. And if you want to get started, all you need to do is scroll down a little bit and you click over here and this thing opens up. And if you want to actually build that entire Airbnb thing I showed you, exact code, word to word, is all of it available over here. Again, my idea is to, our idea is to democratize knowledge, make it available for everyone. You guys can follow each step of the way as you go, but just follow through. Like, if you're like, I have no way to get started, just do chapter 1 to chapter 15 or chapter 16, and you will be able to get started. What I don't want from you is that get unhappy and be like, oh, I don't know what to do, where to start, no. All I want you to do is step by step follow through the entire workflow that we have shown to you. Follow through the technical details, and sort of just build something. And it sort of just it will just make it visible for you. So again, this is what you need to do. Just build something simple and smart and try to build from there to build this. All right, so we are almost at the end of today's session, but before that, I think if you guys are able to do it, you should be somewhat of a scientist yourself also. This is the screen. Safe to say that you're somewhat of a scientist yourself, but please don't do this. Keep it simple, keep it verticalized, focus on one problem, don't focus on 1,500 things at the same time. Focus on building one workflow, two workflows that do the job for you. Do not build something that looks like this. This is going to kill you. All right. So what I would love for you to do is, we're going to send you an invite for tomorrow. You're going to get a calendar invite, just like today. But what we would like for you to do is, if you want this content, please make a post about it. Please post it on LinkedIn, tag us. This way we want to put our word out there that this is a free resource available. The only problem is not many people know about it. All we ask of you is to share this with people, share this with different people, reach out to people on LinkedIn or whatever, post it so that we can get you, we can share the word about it, that this is what we've been teaching, this is how we've been teaching. And this will what we'll talk about is very good stuff. We'll talk about keyword search. This is hardcore coding. So we'll talk about keyword search. We will talk about semantic search. We'll talk about agentic workflow. So all of those things are coming up for tomorrow. And then we'll follow up we'll do it in the following week. With that, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining with us today. A big thank you to my team, who sort of, behind the scenes, who have been doing a great job. This is our QR code. Connect with me, connect with Gabriela on LinkedIn. We'd love to learn about what's working for you, what's not working. And there is a lot of free content available for you. There are a lot of questions that have been asked. We'll try to answer them as we go through our sessions. We'll try to save this thing. But thank you, everyone. Please post about this. Please tell your friends about this. And we would love to share this with everyone, bring everyone on the same page. With that, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you all tomorrow.